Hi, in this video I'll help you get to know your car a little better. At the end of this video I've put together a straightforward infographic that summarizes all the key points. Like, subscribe and comment below. It really helps.
So that dreaded check engine light just popped on in your Chevy. You run a quick scan and up comes the code P0036. Well, if that's you, you've landed in exactly the right spot. We're going to decode precisely what your car is trying to tell you.
Here's our game plan. First, we'll break down what code P0036 actually is. Then we'll get into something called the 7-second mismatch. That's the key to how this whole thing gets triggered. After that, we'll look at the specific conditions that cause the code, the most common fixes, and we'll wrap it all up with the one big thing you need to remember.
All right, let's dive right in. First things first, what is the car's computer actually trying to tell us with this code?
So the official lingo is an issue with the heated oxygen sensor, or HO2S, heater control circuit for bank 1, sensor 2. Yeah, I know, that's a real mouthful, but let's translate that. In simple terms, your car's main computer, the ECM, has spotted a problem with the little heating element inside one of your oxygen sensors. See, that heater is super important. It gets the sensor up to the right temperature really fast, which helps your car run efficiently from the moment you start it. And that bank 1, sensor 2 part, that just tells you exactly which sensor it is. Bank 1 is the side of the engine with cylinder number 1, and sensor 2 means it's the one after the catalytic converter.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. Your car's computer doesn't just throw this code at the first sign of trouble. No, it's all about a very specific time frame. The absolute key to this entire fault code. It all boils down to this one little window of time, just 7 seconds. And here's the heart of the issue. Think of your car's computer like a boss. It sends out a command, an order, telling that sensor's heater to turn on. Then it listens for feedback to make sure the job got done. But if there's a disconnect, if what the computer told the heater to do doesn't match the signal it's getting back, and that mismatch lasts for more than 7 seconds, bam, the check engine light comes on and code P0036 gets stored.
But here's the thing. The computer isn't watching this heater circuit every single second. It only runs this particular diagnostic test when a few specific conditions are just right. Let's take a look at what those are.
For this test to even kick off, 3 things need to line up. First, your car needs a stable voltage supply, anywhere between 11 and 32 volts. That's a wide range, but it just ensures the electrical system is stable. Second, the engine has to be spinning faster than 400 RPM, which basically just means it's running, not just sitting there with the key turned. And finally, both of those conditions need to be true for at least 1 full second before the test begins. Okay, so we know what the code is and what triggers it. That brings us to the part you've been waiting for. What's actually causing it, and how in the world do you fix it? Let's walk through the path from finding the problem to solving it.
This table, right here, is your diagnostic cheat sheet. It lays out the logic perfectly. You see, if you have a bunch of related codes, chances are the problem is in the wiring that they all share. But if the only thing you've got is that 7-second mismatch we talked about, then the sensor itself is probably the culprit. And if the problem seems tied to those trigger conditions, like voltage, well, that points you straight to the battery or charging system.
So here's your action plan, your step-by-step playbook. And you always, always start with the simplest and most common problem first. Step 1, just look. Inspect the wiring and the connectors. Is anything loose, burnt, or corroded? If that all looks good, then you move on to testing the oxygen sensor itself. From there, you'd make sure the battery voltage is stable, and only then do you start digging into other parts of the ignition system.
And this is a really important distinction to make. Finding a wiring issue is usually great news. It's often a simple, cheap fix. Maybe you just need to clean a connector or plug something back in securely. But if you've checked all that wiring and it's perfect, then you're probably looking at a faulty part. That means either the O2 sensor is bad, or, in some pretty rare cases, the engine control module itself has a problem. And that's a whole different kind of repair.
All right, we've waded through a lot of technical details. Let's zoom out for a second. What's the one big picture idea you should walk away with from all this? It all comes down to this single sentence from the source material. Fixing this isn't just about making an annoying light on your dashboard go away. It's about making sure your car is running the way it was designed to. Efficiently, correctly, and most importantly, safely. You know, understanding what your car is saying through a code like P0036 is the first and most powerful step you can take. It puts you in control. It helps you get your vehicle back into top shape. So the only question left to ask is it time for a system check?